Hello, this is Janet Smarter Country Living, and today I'm going to do a post about quilts. Now, I'll probably have 2 or 3 parts to this post. I've got a lot of quilts. I love quilts. I come from a long line of quilters. My grandma, she used to quilt. This was, way back. She was born in 1891, and they said that she would sell them for like, $2 and $3 each, which is hard to believe, But I don't quilt like I used to because I'm into other things now. But, okay, this is a king size quilt that I made. And I made it in 2002 because here's a picture of me. Got it hanging out on the clothesline. And it's dated 2002. Now, and what I did, now this is red, white, and blue one. And it's king size. And because I had a king size bed at the time. And I kind of made the mistake, you might say. I hand quilted this. Now I sewed the pieces together, but I hand quilted it. I mean, for my first quilt, I picked a king size to hand quilt, which is kind of crazy. But it's not perfect, but it's not that bad of a job, I really like it. And it is very large. It's a king size. And like I said, it's hand quilted. Now, I have some more here. Now this is more like a little throw that I made. But I like this one because I made it for a family reunion in 2003. It says McMillan Family Reunion 2003 up in the corner. And I had those white patches for people to sign their name. So I've got that, memory here of all these family members signing their name. And a lot of these people aren't alive right now. So that's really neat. There's my Aunt Gracie, Mary Lou, she was a cousin, and Debbie and Rodney McMillan, they were a cousin and his wife. They're not alive anymore. And what I did was I put a picture in the middle of my grandparents, and then I put the little family tree off to the side of it there. And like I said, I took this to the family reunion, and I had everybody sign it. And this is an easy pattern. Anybody could do this. Just had those 3 things like that. And so I cherish that one. And I've got some quilt tops here that I got. I got this at a yard sale. And I believe this is Drunkard Path. And I got this quite a few years ago. I'd say it's probably for a half bed. And you can tell by the material that, it's old. I think I paid $7 for it. And one of these days, I'm going to quilt it, to make a quilt out of it whenever I get around to it. But it's really neat. And I really like, I really like that. Now, here's another one. I picked this up probably at a thrift store. I think for probably almost nothing. It's a top that needs to be quilted. And I'd like to do that someday too. Now you can tell by the material that it's old. I mean, look at the little Red Riding Hood material here. It's kind of neat. And I like the yellow flowers. And this right there, that's a pretty pattern. But that's another quilt top I got that I want to, Now, this one, oh, I love this one. This is another. Now, this was hand quilted. And I believe it's queen size. And this belonged to my mother-in-law. Now, when she passed away, she had some quilts. And, the children kind of, picked out one each. And this is the one I got. And who did it was, she didn't really do it. But it was her husband's sister that quilted it. And she was a very, very good quilter. I mean, this is hand quilted, and it is just, it's perfect. It's beautiful. And you see this pattern. It's really a beautiful quilt. And I put this on my bed sometimes. You know, a lot of times people, they'll have quilts, but they'll never use them, you know. They're afraid to use them. But now back in the old days, they were mainly utilitarian quilts, and, you know, they weren't real pretty, maybe, but they used them. Now, I was into blue jean quilts at one time, and I made these. I made each of my boys a blue jean quilt. And I made an extra one, and another one, I believe. Now, these are for half beds, and these are very heavy. Now, when my first son went off to college, he took one with him. Now, these, see, flannel is the backing of it, and you don't have to put anything inside because these are heavy enough without putting anything inside. And what you do is just old blue jeans, anything made out of blue jean material. I mean, you can get, they can be your old blue jeans, your family's old blue jeans, or you can get them at yard sales or thrift stores. You know, and just cut them into pieces and sew them together, and then I tie them. I tie them with embroidery. I don't really like, you know, doing it with yarn. I do it with embroidery thread. But these are really nice. And like I said, I made quite a few of these. Made one, I got 3 boys and made one for each boy, and they are heavy. Let me tell you. There's another one here I made that I made it a little different. Blue jean. I put some pink in it, you know, pink for a girl. And I love getting pieces of material that's got embroidery on it. And right here, there's a pocket, you know, and I left that on here. And this here's blue jean material. And here's, I think this was a leg of a pair of jeans. And see the pretty embroidery on it? So whenever I would, there's another pocket. And this is pink blue jean material. So I really like this one. And you know, this is just plain off-white. I did the back end of it. Like I say, you don't have to put any lining inside of these because they are heavy. And these will need to take on picnics and stuff, you know, and put them out for a tablecloth or whatever, or to sit on or to lay on. Now here's another one that I love. I got this at a yard sale. I couldn't believe it. I just loved it so much. Now, it's got the, where's it got the little boys on it? Now, you know, the name is escaping me right now, what they're called. But a lot of them, they'll have the little girls on it, and this has got the little boys on it. And these are all, you know, sewn on by hand. And I believe it's machine stitched. But this is, I'm not sure how old it is. I think it's at least 40 years old. Because I know the person's yard sale I got it from, our oldest child, you know, is in the early 40s. But this is so beautiful. I just love it to pieces. There we go. Now, this is like the first one I ever made. And it's really a comforter. I made this, oh gosh, 30-some years ago, because what I did was, and you know, it's not the best in the world, and my middle son, he used this on his bed, and he just about wore it out, and finally I said, nope, we're putting it away because I'm afraid it's going to, you know, tear up. Because I've got handprints on here. Here's the handprint of my youngest son at the time. He was only, I believe, 2 years old. You see that small handprint? And there's a handprint of my middle son. And I think that might have been my handprint there. But I've got, okay, here's the handprint of my oldest son right here. And, you know, like I say, it's not the best in the world. This was my first one. But it's, you know, there is a lining in it and everything. But, and I did these on the machine. And then I tied them with the embroidery thread. But like I say, it served its purpose. My son loved it. He had it on his bed for a long time. And it's, you know, my first one. So, and it's pretty worn. There's some spots in it that did tear and stuff. Now, here is another, I don't know, kind of silly one I made. I just, I kind of collect these old cloth calendars. You know, you see them everywhere, the cloth calendars. Well, I've got a lot of them. I've made a lot of them. I've even made teddy bears out of them. And you can make totes out of them. There's 1970, 1967 on that. And I sewed this together on, yeah, I made a quilt and put those on there. Like I say, it's not the prettiest in the world, but the more I look at it, the more I like it, you know. It kind of grew on me. But I just had material, put it together, and then I sewed these on top of it. It's kind of neat. If you got old calendars for certain years, you know, maybe when people were born, that would be a good thing to do. I just put any on here. 1971, 67. I like this blue one up here. It's 1970, and I like the blue and the red. I like the eagle and stuff. But yeah, I put this together one time. Like I said, it's not the prettiest in the world, but like I said, it grows on you. Yeah. I've got a quilt rack my son made that I put a lot of these on. Now let's see what else we got here. Now here are a couple small throws I've made. Also, I was kind of into pink, and I made these before and gave to him. A friend of ours got married, and I made her one, and hers had butterflies on it because she loved butterflies. And I talked to her a few years back on Facebook. She doesn't live here now. She said, "Oh, I still have that." She said, "I love it. It's a pretty throw." And I got buttons on it. I love buttons. I like putting buttons on things. So, these are easy. These are easy to make. And here's another one. I was kind of into pink and yellow time. And in the squares, I embroidered these big flowers. And there's a butterfly on that. See, this was already on the material. So what you do, and there's a pocket on there. You can go to these yard sales or thrift stores and pick up these, you know, blue jean material and everything, and get the one that's got the embroidery on and all the pretty stuff. I really like that. And you can make a lot of things out of them. And we have a thrift store, you know, nearby there. Almost everything there's a quarter. So, you know, it's really nice. Now this is just a little something. I picked this up at a yard sale. You can tell I like old things. This is, I don't know really, you call this a quilt or what you would call it. But I saw it. I liked it. And I'm sure I only paid probably about $1 for it. This would be good to take, you know, on a picnic or something. And, okay, now, this is only a drop in the bucket, you might say. I've got a lot more quilts. I've got some in my daddy's trunk, old trunk, and, you know, a few other places. And oh, I also made little dog quilts. Those are really cute. Now, baby quilts, when I had my first child, I got all kinds of baby quilts that were handmade. Oh, it tickled me to death. They were just beautiful. I'll do another video with the, you know, those little dog quilts I made and the baby quilts. And they might give you some ideas as to, you know, how you can make a quilt. And like I said, the one for the family reunion, those are easy to do. And it would be neat. And then you get, you know, people's names on it, have them signed. And that could be a nice remembrance of your family and everything. So, and I don't know if you've seen, I had these two, you know, this is one of my old quilt racks where the things come on. I got two of these, sawhorses or whatever you call them. And I hang a bunch of my quilts on those. And on top of the one my son made. So, this is my first video on quilts. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, like and subscribe. And maybe in the comments you can tell me about some quilts you've got or some that you've made. So, this is Janet Smart of Country Living.